But if you hadn't already been there for 3 nights, I'd stay another night, but you've been here for 3 nights. You need to try and get a halfway decent night's sleep
Yeah.
by coming home, maybe. They must have had a halfway decent Saturday night because they never woke me up to come help.
Oh.
But last night she just wanted to be held. I said, oops. Because I held her all day yesterday. Oops.
You can't spoil a newborn.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, looks like we are missing Will Meyer and Mary Moulton, and everybody else is here. Okay, the proposed 2023-2024 budgets, all the different budgets are listed there. Are you going to lead us through this?
Yes, I have only 25 slides, I think, and I told Kurt no jokes. Kurt told me one instruction, no jokes today. So
Budget's serious.
yeah, this is a very serious. We're talking about 23-24, so we're about to start that new year. But I always say let's wrap up this last one. So also on your agenda tonight is the end 22-23. So this is what we approved in February. This is what I'm proposing tonight. So again, starting fund balances. I kind of put these high level. I have a packet for each one of you. Kind of shows a little bit more in depth. There's a page, I think 7 and 8, that kind of break down per category, which I think was also a big benefit. If you have any questions, you can always email me and I can respond to them. The big thing is the big revenue. Our revenue increased by $833,000. The large chunk of that is a one-time ORS contribution from the state of Michigan, and about $550,000. So in reality, a lot of that came from a one-time payment, which the state gives it to us, and then they tell me to pay ORS. So there's 550 here, there's 550 here. So in reality, it looks like, wow, you guys made a big adjustment. It really isn't. At the end of the day, our deficit went from like 103,000 to 112,000. So if you see, our fund balance went down by a big percentage. The only reason it is, the percentage is you take the 1.2 million divided by the 12.7 million, which 500,000 of that is a one-time payment. So it's kind of showing less than what we truly have if you take that one-time payment out. The one thing that it does include is an $80,000 payment for that property that Kurt has been emailing regarding to make it a parking lot. So if you take the 80 out, our deficit would have went from 110 to 30.
So we've already accounted for the 80 that we're going to have to pass over to the city.
Yep.
Right. Which is a good thing.
So the other requirement that I have to state is our taxable values and millage levies for next year. This is also on your agenda, the L4029. So big thing is the property values went up roughly 4 to 6% depending on this category. So it went from 34 million to 36 million. Commercial personal property values went up about 4%. So then really the L4029. So you have a debt rate, we're still going to keep the 7.82 mils. Our operating rate, so this is the pre-18 mils that we approved 3-4 years ago for a 10-year. That's at 17.63. The max is 18 mils. So in November we passed, or the community passed, a 10 mil for 10 years to get us. So we milled out 4 mils, but the max is 18. So you really just take 18 subtracting the 17.6 mils to a 0.36. So we get the max amount of money that we possibly can. The sinking fund is still at 1.43. It was at 1.5, but Headley rollbacks, basically our property values are going higher than interest or CPI. But this year we didn't. Even though we had a 6% taxable value increase, the CPI increased by 8%. So no Headley rollbacks. We're going to generate about almost $650,000 of property taxes. Again, we're going to get $650. The state's going to take that off of the state aid, right? So that's kind of the Prop A in 94. Everyone's on the same page. It's going to generate almost $1.4 million in the annual debt obligation. As of right now, we are paying back to the school bond loan fund. As you can see, our school bond loan fund, we technically owe almost $3 million back. So this is the school bond loan funds really for a smaller tax base like ourselves, that we don't have to mill out 15 mils just to renovate a piece of our building, right? So, but as you can see, look at the interest rate that we currently have on that, and it's going to take us to 2034. Our other two debts that we have, I always say, look at that. We have $5 million of principal, and we only owe $587,000 in interest. The other principal is not that much bigger, and it's almost 3 times. So when this one comes back around, and if our taxable value or if our interest rates are good in 2026, we're going to refinance that one and hopefully save the community a lot of money. So 23-24 budget assumptions. Our fall count, we're going to be at 985. We are roughly at 955. School choice increases, a higher kindergarten number. Still at the fall blend at 90% fall, 10% spring. So we already know the 10% of our count because it's already happened. Foundation, I'm going to increase it $460 per kid to $9,610 per kid. Again, this is an assumption, partly because the state hasn't approved their budget yet. This may be higher in a couple weeks. Increase the 140 section A MIPSers offset. It was around 260, now it's 314. You're going to see in a little bit the ORS rate went from 28% to 31%. So that 3% increase is going to get eaten up, or the increase of this revenue is going to offset the increase in the ORS. So it's kind of holding the districts harmless for ORS costs. It's just going to look like, wow, for every dollar you spend 31 cents on it. Well, there's a revenue offsetting that doesn't really track and follow it. First time actually new employees coming in are actually cheaper on a percent value than current staff. So the basic and the MIT individuals are at 31.34%. The pension plus 2 people brand new are either at a 28% or a 30%. So, but prior years it was always the opposite. 147C rate increases, again, this is a payment that we get and we pay right back to us. It's really kind of keeping this pension system alive. It does impact state and federal grants because the revenue doesn't follow the expense. But again, the budget dollar amount on the impact, net impact is 0. We still are going to keep 31.0 and our special ed at 40.96. Other caps, our health insurance caps are going to increase 4.1%. I did say it's potentially larger increase of 4.1, so there are legislation out there that could make it go up. Again, this is where, going back, if that budget, if the foundation increases more than 460, it's going to help us off if this goes up from 4.1 to maybe 6%. It's going to help the employee out. It's going to put more burden on us. We're going to replace all teaching staff. We're going to add an elementary teacher. Our retirement, so we have 2 additional retirees this year, plus we have 2 additional that we're still paying that early retirement incentive. So that retirement incentive is at $27,000. We're going to replace a curriculum in person with a dean of students, and then we're going to increase contracted services for cleaning. We're going to figure that one out. Cash flow, also on your agenda tonight, $950,000. So we're just going to still keep that as a whole. So part of some of this potentially back here. So right, the NMEA contract is based on a formula based on fall count, foundation, and ORS. So if I have those in, I got to figure out what the NMEA may receive if this actually happens. And that is a step in 6%. So then all the other people, I have factored in that roughly that same percent-wise to the other groups. The support union is already on a contract, so they're going to get theirs. Operation and transportation, I think this is the new normal. I think some of the operational side, contracted service for them for transportation is higher than normal. When I say normal, pre-COVID normal. So I think this might be the new normal, so I'm going to keep it. Until I'm proven wrong, I'm just going to keep it that way. So kind of the general fund right now, we're going to show, here's the, again, it's in your packet. Here's all the bottom, the main categories. It's a $14,000 deficit. We're at 9.4, but as I've been saying for the last 3 years, we're on a roller coaster. And the goal right now is to get back to right where we started pre-COVID and where we ended. That's our goal. And we're just going to go up and down for a little bit. Last year of ESSER 3 and 11T, Section 11T. So what Kurt and I and the admin, we've done a great job, I think, of making sure this roller coaster isn't like this. or all of a sudden out of nowhere after the roller coaster we get off and we're gonna have to cut, right? So we've done a great job. Some things that we have to figure out that are funded from one of these big grants that are done after this year. We have some FTEs funded out of these grants, summer school extended day, and some other expenses, some one time, some not one time. We have some plans as to where some of this grants are where some of this is gonna go, and others we still have to figure out. But again, as I said, in some districts, this is the cliff, and hopefully I know we have done a great job, so we shouldn't have a cliff. Enrollment trends, I kind of now just show charts, graphs, because I get boring listening to myself for 30 minutes about numbers, so I figured if I'm bored, you guys are definitely going to be bored, so why not some charts? So this is kind of our enrollment trend. Again, these are fall years, so that's why it's a projected 23, because it's fall of 23. So 875, we're going to hopefully try to get back to that maybe 1,000. School choice, so big thing. We have stabilized, this is the loss. So we're kind of still staying in that same, that line isn't going much. This is starting to tick up. We're at 414 FTEs. Again, you got to take it a little bit. This is all from a state data system that it's all based, like, I can infer that we took more school choice kids. It also could mean that a kid doesn't live in North Muskegon anymore, goes to Puffer, but still sends their kid this way. We've always had the kid, but now the kid went from no school of choice to a school of choice ad, right? So you can infer on some of this, but you can't take this all to the bank. I can definitely tell you, we took more kids last year, because this is all a year behind. Here's kind of a thing that I show. So Puffer, we lose the most kids to Puffer. We went from losing 45 kids to 48 kids. Next one's West Michigan Arts and Academy. So, and then our gains. Sorry, Puffer, we take 237. Next, we take from Muskegon at 56, then Whitehall at 25. So it's just kind of showing the ebbs and flows of where. So right, we took 4 more Orchard View kids than we did the 2 years ago. We went from 19 to 23. It's just a good barometer of checking to see where kids are. The Brighton up here, we lose Brighton, but since we partner with Brighton, we lose the FT, but we get some of the FT back when we do a check. By grade, it's just a different way. Here's our gains, the blues, losses. So you can see we're starting to gain massively in the kindergarten, which makes a little bit of sense. Again, that's kindergarten, that's also DKK. So the other kind of what I like to show is it's a simple math problem. If I know how many kids we gain, which I don't show, I know how many we gain, I know how many lose, and I know how much we count, right? So you just take what our count was, add how many we lost, because they live in our boundaries, but they go somewhere else, and I subtract all the gains, because they don't live in our boundaries, to come up with how many kids live in our boundaries. And that's a little bit of a concern. Now again, it's a math problem. There are a lot of reasons why that could happen without it being there's less kids, right? They could homeschool. If they're homeschooled and no public school counts them, they fall off the face of the earth, right? But the other thing is, I always like to put percent resident that we actually educate. So we're still roughly in that same 87 to 85%. Again, this is why I think school of choice, we're gonna have to start, if we want to maintain that 850 or 985, if this is a trend that's happening, we're gonna have to take more school of choice to keep that 75 kids per grade. Foundation trend, again, the blue bars are how much we increase every year. The red line is what our foundation is. So red line goes to 96. You see we've consistently the last 3 years have at least had a $450 per kid increase. So it's good money. And $460 kid increase is $439,000 to our budget every year. So MIPSR's rate. So as you can see, this is where the blue is kind of what we pay every year. The red is kind of where they give me the money and I pay it right back out the same month. You see that big chart, they're almost 27%. They're trying to offset that pension system as much as they possibly can, because the orange line is how many people are retired and taking the money. SP. You're the orange. Kurt and I are the blue. You see a problem with this, right? there's less people paying in than are drawing. Hence why these ORS rates are at 31%. When I started, it was at 11%. And I've only been in schools 12 years. Kurt probably remembers when it was at 5%.
I remember 7 or 8.
Yeah. See? So again, this is why I adore Chrissy with all my heart. It's not just one rate. There are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9 rates. And then some of these mandatory rates are different. So thank Chrissy for all of her hard work for that. Special ed costs. This is not an indicative in saying that we overspend special ed. I just want to preface that. It's a funding issue. This is a massive funding issue. So the local fund, so we have, this is all the expenses that I have estimated in the budgets, right? That's why there's asterisks there. There's a local where we get from an Act 18 from the ISC millage. There's a state, which there's an offset. There's a formula that comes through that the state pays us. For every dollar, we get roughly 29% back. There's a federal, so we get a federal program. It's called IDEA. We get some money to offset that. The rest of it has to come from the general fund. You see that bar seems pretty large because it's $900,000 every year, or this year for 24, which is roughly 50%. So for every dollar that we spend on special ed, we get roughly 50 cents back on a Act 18 millage, a state or a federal grant. That's why when we had that Act 18 millage or renewal from the IC, right, that's where it was talking about. This blue is the reason why, because it's only growing. Because part of the issue is you have to spend more than the previous year. Special ed says it's maintenance of effort. So if you spend $2 million this year, you got to spend at least $2 million next year, or there's a penalty. Which is very ironic. I love that. Oh, I went the wrong way. Fund balance, again, the blues are the revenues, reds are the expenses, and the green is the fund balance in percent. I always like percent. I think in the little chart I put dollars too, because I think sometimes there are reasons why you want to use dollars versus a percent. So again, like I said, there's a little roller coaster around here, and now we're trying to level off. And as you can see, also let's look at the sheer amount of expenses that have come through. Some of them are one time, some of them are not. Other way. Other budgets that you guys are hopefully going to approve tonight, food service. The big thing is we started with $415,000 in starting fund balance. That's way too high. MD says you have too much money, you have to spend it. Hence why you guys approved a couple months ago all the equipment, the cooler, all of that fun stuff. I'm projecting it all in here. That's why there's a $227,000 deficit. Part of it may come into here. Either way, if you look at it holistically, by the end of 24, we're going to be down under 18%, or around 18%, $121,000, which is good. We can have a max of 33%. This does not assume that all kids eat free. I know that is part of a potential a budget item. I did not assume that. I think it's going to happen, but until I know, I kind of kept it as simple as possible. Technology. This shocks me, Paul. We're gonna run a surplus next year. Look at this. I'm so proud of Paul.
No, we're not.
Yeah, Steve. So part of in there, this is the 1 year that we do not have to replace Chromebooks. So that is a pretty big. Hopefully, again, we can increase that coffer a little bit for the OCRAT fund or for additional something that Paul comes up with. See, he's already thinking. Fiduciary account. So this is the internal account. I'll be honest, this is something that the auditors make me do. I do not see why we have to do it, but I have to. So here it is. It's all the internal accounts. It's all the little things that Christy deals with in QuickBooks. I have no idea. So, but I put a budget in there. It doesn't impact the general fund. It's just something that we have to do because townships and cities do it, so we have to. Sinking fund. Right now, we're going to end with a surplus this year. We're going to end with a surplus next year. $303,000, which if you say, that's roughly a whole year's worth of money. What I will say is that this will be able to be used on a lot of things that the bond has, that the potential bond language that we have in there in November, so that if the bond language or if some of these projects go a little bit too high versus what the estimates are, we have sinking funds that can offset, i.e. like a carpet. If we want to replace all the carpet, the bond can do it, so can the sinking fund. So we have options, and I like multiple options, because if you're pigeonholed into a corner, you got to make some tough decisions. If you have options, you have plenty of opportunities to make the right decision and the best decision. And that's it. Told you. 25 minutes. This is like a rock. I'm sorry, but this is like roughly the same presentation. I just changed the numbers. I add different graphs. I like doing graphs.
You're all practiced up, don't we?
Yeah, I know. Any questions? And I gotta, like Kurt kind of said, I have to leave because I gotta do double duty. I gotta do the same presentation, just different numbers and different graphs. Over and
Do you have
forth.
to do the 4029 review?
That was that.
Okay.
Yeah, he hit on it early on.
Like slide 2. So again, nothing really changes in that. The big budget, right? I personally don't like the budget increases in property taxes in the general fund, because it all wipes out to nothing. If I show an increase of $30,000 in property taxes, I show $30,000 less in state revenue. It nets to nothing. So that's why if you look on there, property taxes did not increase, because it doesn't impact the general fund. They increase and they decrease in a different bucket. But here you show it. That's where the L4029, they show this. I mean, they show different numbers because they show holistic approach, but these are the two numbers that really generates down to the 657,000 and the 1.4 million. Any other questions?
Your pack is awesome.
Good.
Yes, thank you.
And I gave.
Thank you to Jess and Christy for all their help on putting all this together.
Yes. Johnny wasn't here. I'm disappointed. I get it. You didn't want to hear me.
We can adjourn the budget hearing.
Okay, meeting adjourned for budget hearing. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, 5 minutes. We'll start the next. again, since we just did it? Nope. Okay. We are missing Will Meyer and Mary Moulton tonight. First on the agenda, approval of the consent agenda, minutes from the June 12th regular board meeting and the May 2023 accounts payable and financials. Christy, did we get that one
Yeah.
changed on the?
Somehow my minutes are right, yes. 533, I just gotta delete the words with regret, sorry. So yes, that is all set.
I move that we approve tonight's consent agenda.
Support?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or any questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor say say. Okay. Are there any public comments tonight? Okay. Committee reports. Financial committee.
Finance committee met at 5 prior to the budget meeting, and I think everybody pretty much heard our meeting at 5:30. The only other thing we did discuss, other than all this outgoing year budget, the incoming year budget, but also we talked about the cash flow loan situation that we get into every usually November, December, when we have to take a small loan out to kind of get us through until our state tax payments and city tax payments and stuff start flowing into our cash flow. We also talked about the window film RFP and the playground equipment RFP that is in our agenda today, and we'll discuss any other questions or follow up when we get to those items. And that's it.
Okay, good, thank you. That brings us to new business. The first is item 535, adoption of the final 2022-2023 budgets, general fund budget, cafeteria budget, technology millage, sinking fund, and fiduciary fund.
And they can all be done as a group.
They all can. Right, good.
With the roll call.
With roll call on both of those first two.
I would motion to approve, as we just heard, the adoption of the final 2022-2023 budget. So that's the outgoing year budgets as presented in our last meeting and in your packets tonight.
Support?
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Okay, then we'll do a roll call. We'll start with Liz.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Okay, that has passed. The next item on the list is 536, adoption of proposed 2023-2024 budgets. We have the same categories there.
Alright, I will move to approve the adoption of the proposed 2023-2024 budgets. These are the upcoming school year budgets.
Support?
Okay, again, it's been moved and seconded, and we will have a roll call again.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 All right, very good. Moving right along. Item 537 in your packet is the approval of 2023 tax rate request, L4029. That was also discussed in our budget meeting.
I would motion to approve the 2023 tax rate request, Form L4029, as it was presented in our packets.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say same. Okay. The next item, 538, is approve state aid operating notes resolution. That is also in your packet.
That's the one from Troon.
Yeah, there's nothing more that I need to add on that is in your packet,
This
pretty
This
straightforward.
is roll call.
This one is a roll call.
Alright, I will move to approve the state aid operating notes resolution.
Support.
Okay, also moved and seconded, so we will do a roll call for this. Lisa, we'll start with you.
Yes.
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 Okay. The next one, 539, approve school bond loan fund. This will also be a roll call.
And it was all the information that Mark shared in his presentation of where we're at this point on the school bond loan fund. This year just approving that.
I move that we approve the school bond loan fund.
Support?
Okay, this one is also a roll call.
Yes.
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 All right, moving right along here. Number 540, approval of the elementary student handbook, which you guys should also have in your packet.
And Mr. Allen was so impressed with the work of Ms. Schultz on her handbook that he thought he better tweak his.
Step his game
That's
up.
that's actually not 100% true. John was working on his, and you have it in your packet. Some tweaks, some improvements, cleaned up, and you did a great job on it. It's in your packet.
Mr. Allen, I have a question. The art department and the music department have a statement under table of contents, but the PE does not. Is there a reason for that?
That was one of the areas that just remained unchanged, so, nothing specific. They had pre-existing statements that I just carried over,
Okay,
and PE didn't, so I didn't,
okay,
and that's it.
okay. Is it something that we should get into?
It's not required under a student handbook, however, if the PE department wants to submit one, I mean, that wasn't something that the administration asked the music department for, they chose to ask to put it in. So if the PE department wants something in, we can definitely add it. It's not a requirement of a student handbook.
Okay.
Wouldn't be bad to have it.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Can we get a motion for this?
I move that we approve the elementary student handbook.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the approval of the elementary student handbook, say aye.
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 Opposed, say same. Item 541, approval of RFP for safety security film.
Yes, we'll be making our friend Sheriff Poulin very happy tonight. This is something that he had been talking to us about for some time, and we've gradually been working on our first floor. In your packet is the bid summary, and this would finish all of the remaining first floor glass to be protected with the recommended film by the state police department.
So classrooms and.
Everything on the first floor, that's glass, would have this. You won't really notice it, it's clear. We can, like the blue and gold things with the North Nation and all that, that's already all done. And so that won't go away, this just finishes the building. And we're using the school safety dollars provided by the state of Michigan for this. It is the low bid, and it's also the company that many other districts in our region are using. So their trucks are already here, working in Fruitport actually right now.
Is this the same company that we had last time?
No, it's not.
Different, okay.
Yep.
Just wondered.
That company from before was not as competitive with their bid.
Okay.
Alright, I move to approve the RFP for the safety security film.
Support.
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say same. right. Item 542, approval of COVID learning loss academic report.
Yep, in your packet, you'll see that, that's a requirement, when the ESSER funding came to us, this is, one of the final requirements of that. And, just wanna thank, Mr. Allen for his work pulling that data together. It's in your packet, so this is a formality because we're already spending the dollars, however, I think it's a good thing that we need to pull some data together for our Board of Ed community to see, so. That's why it's in the agenda.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
I'd motion to approve the COVID learning loss academic report as presented.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and I've forgotten to ask if we do have other comments in some of these other ones, so I apologize.
No one was jumping in, so.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say same. Okay, item 543, approval of halftime elementary music teacher hiring, Laura Ogren.
Yeah. Yep, exciting stuff. We were hoping that she might apply last year, and she had some other things going on with her family and decisions that they needed to make. She did apply this year. She's been helping us as a accompanist in our choir department, and so she's familiar with kids and the building and how we do things. So yeah, we're pretty excited to have Laura on board formally now. So.
Yeah, 2 of her 3 kids go to school here, the other is too young.
Will go.
I move that we approve the halftime elementary music teacher hiring of Laura Hogan.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say same. All right, approval of kindergarten teacher hiring Gina Cowie, thank you.
Yeah, another known commodity. Gina's been with us for a few years doing our intervention services at elementary. She's done summer school. She worked for North Muskegon in the past, and then did some other things, but she's back. As John said, she was probably our front runner going in because we knew what we were getting, and we're really happy with what she's been doing. And after the long process of the interview, she was still our front runner, and so we're really excited to have Gina on a teacher contract and lock in with her for the rest of her career, hopefully.
I move to approve the new kindergarten teacher hiring of Gina Cowie.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say same. Right, almost finished. Item 545, approval of playground equipment purchase. Kurt?
Yeah, yep, and actually John took the lead on this, once everyone on the board was good with moving forward with starting to redo our playgrounds. And pretty cool story that I think it'd be great if he told on why we went with this piece of equipment. He did some interviews of kids that were in his office for maybe not the most appropriate use of the playground.
It was really a wide variety.
And this was the type of a piece of equipment that they really wanted. We got the biggest one we could get to fit in the space we had, and it also then became our best bid on per square foot. So everything seemed to work out with price and what we wanted, but John can add anything else that he wants to on that one. But I thought that was a cool way to pick out what kind of, I mean, there's so many different pieces of equipment.
Every time a kid had time to kill in the office, I give them a few, or even just waiting to get picked up for an appointment. There's a variety of options they have to help kill the time. And one of them was to go through this catalog of stuff, playground equipment, and put little post-it tabs on what they thought they liked. And yeah, the rope climbing structures were always one of the clear favorites. And the second place mirrored some stuff we already had, so to keep it unique and novel and give them some options. Yeah. Plus, it looks like Spider-Man. So
Do we have to remove any other equipment?
for what we're doing, no. It's just an addition.
Where does it go then?
It goes between the twisty slide and the pavilion. There's kind of a larger wood chip area with nothing, and that's where it's going.
Okay.
And our irrigation back there will be starting very, very soon. You'll see trucks back there. It's falling into place.
Do you want to just mention our funding for that?
Oh, yes, as a reminder, again, this does not hit general fund at all. This is funding, from, White Lake Area Community Education's early childhood programs, ESSER money, that is a flow through from them to us because we house the program. So it's a great way, to make it a win-win. Their kids use it, our kids use it, their kids are our kids. So, good use of those funds.
Yep.
Thanks, Steve.
My only question was, do we know how tall it is?
We do if we look it up. It might be
I
in your
think-
packet
I think
right
it
now.
might be.
Well, I didn't see that, that's why I was.
67 by 67 foot.
That's not the actual
No.
structure itself, there's like 6 or 7 foot away from the structure that they call the fall zone. So that can't have sidewalk or any other equipment. So the 67 includes that on each side. If height's not on that
Yeah,
page,
we'll have to
Says
get,
max fall height 72.
Oh,
That's
yep, I see
it.
that.
so that would be the highest
I-
point.
I think it's taller than that. I think you just would fall and land on a rope. With 72 if you went a certain
Just snag the
direction.
kids on the way down.
We can double
Slows
check
you
for
fall.
you, Carolyn, but it looks like it is the 72 inches. I mean, that's what they have
For kids
listed as
aged 5
max
to
fall
12.
height.
Okay,
But if it's not the 72, we'll make sure that that word gets out.
so it's not like, 3 stories tall.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Are there any others of these in the county? Do any other schools have these?
I do not know. I do not know.
Just,
I did see 2 of them in Puerto Rico, just so you know. They're like, look, Tracy, that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing, except ours will be bigger. But I don't know, they might, but I haven't seen it in the county, but I also haven't visited a lot of elementary school playgrounds lately, besides ours,
so you're gonna put your Spider-Man outfit on and?
Any excuse I can get.
The
Why not?
age limit is 12.
Is that really caveat you're willing?
I would motion to approve the playground equipment purchase as presented.
Support.
All right, moved and seconded. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say same. All right, last one. This is an addition to your agenda. It's item 546. It is the approval of hiring Ashley Westerlund for the Dean of Students.
And Ashley's here with us. Super excited, she's over here. Super excited to be able to hire and work with Ashley. The whole team is, she's done trainings for us, our staff. We know her, we've worked with her, and to have her on our staff is, we became a better organization this afternoon when she said yes. So I'm really excited to get her on board. So I don't know, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I don't know if you want to say anything, Ashley, or maybe next time, or whatever
No,
you
it's
can do.
okay, it's okay. It's been a whirlwind of a day, but I'm so incredibly excited to be here, and I'm so excited to work with kids again. I've been away from kids and working directly with kids for about 9 years now, and I've been itching to get back for a while. And I've been pretty picky, and I'm so excited to have the opportunity here. So I know how amazing this district is, so thank you.
Can I get a motion, please?
All right, I will move to approve Ashley Westerland for the position of Dean of Students.
Support.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say same. Congratulations.
Would have been pretty awkward.
Slinking out.
Okay, that gets us to board comments. I'm gonna start with Lisa.
Well, wonderful job tonight, Carolyn. Thank you
Yes.
for stepping up and doing that. Thank you, and Mark and Christy, for like all of your hard work, getting all of the budget stuff figured out. That is, that's Jessica is who I was looking at. Just making eye contact with everybody. That's just an insane amount of work, and really appreciate it. And that's about all. Hope everyone's having a good summer.
I guess I'm next. A lot to go through on the budgetary stuff. It looks good. I think, jumping onto the finance committee when I first joined the board 2 years ago was eye-opening, to say the least. But I think the business team, Mark, Jessica, Christy, explain things well. We know, visibility is there. I feel confident, that we're taking measures to really look out for the best interests of the school, and everyone has that in mind. So just want to say kudos as well. Welcome to our new hires. It's always exciting to bring new folks into the Norse Nation, so congratulations.
I would just echo what has been said already, and again, congratulations to all of our new hires.
Pretty much the same, but with regard to budgets, obviously Mark, Jessica, and Christy do get a massive kudos, but Paul, Jen, Kurt, I know you're also very involved, so thank to all of you, and John. Okay, yeah, God, I'm sorry.
That would have been number 2.
I had you next though. Thank you for all your work with regard to the elementary handbook. And then again, welcome to Laura, Gina, and Ashley. It's great to have great new people joining our organization.
I'm looking forward to the next school year. I think we've got some things that are gonna be in place, and it's gonna make us a better nation. And I hope everything we ask for is approved.
Rolling so far. Yeah.
I am.
That is a lot of business. Well done, Mrs. Neto. So that's a lot to take on. In one meeting, you get step up, and so thank you. I've got nothing else. That was good stuff tonight.
All right, well, with that, we are adjourned.
Nice work tonight.